Today we'll discuss about the happenings in Bangladesh and its repercussions on India after Hasina left Dhaka, landed up in India on way, probably to United Kingdom if they offer her asylum, or to some other country, depending upon who is willing to accommodate her. One, Bangladesh is a peculiar country. In 1947, when India was partitioned, the bloodiest riots that took place in Bangladesh. Not just in Bangladesh, even in Calcutta also, which is now part of India. The Calcutta Direct Action Day, when Jinnah gave the call, or subsequently at the time of partition, especially the massacre that was done at places like Noakhali, is unimaginable. And this trend of extreme fundamentalism is part of their politics. Sometimes they may come out of that, but it's entrenched. Okay, from then onwards, the issues took a different turn. The language issue became a major issue because, after all, the Muslims in Bangladesh, their language is Bengali, just like the language of Muslims in Kerala is Malayali. And mostly the case in Tamil Nadu as well as in Andhra portion, not Urdu. Whereas even, of course, West Pakistan also, Urdu was not the language of those areas. In fact, it was strongly Punjabi, Pastu, Sindhi. But Jinnah could have his way through there and impose Urdu on them, whereas he failed to impose it on East Pakistan portion. So that became a major issue. From then onwards, issues developed, and great lady that she was, Mrs. Gandhi, was able to very deftly handle the situation in spite of total non-cooperation from fellows like Nixon, America and others. She was able to, with the help of Russia, seal the issue, and within a 13-day war, finished off and created a new country of Bangladesh. So that's how Bangladesh was born. But soon after it became a separate state, immediately anti-India feeling was a major issue in Bangladesh. And there were a lot of anti-India protests once Mujibur Rahman took over and they felt that he was pro-India. So this theme is something that was running there right from the beginning. Then, of course, Mujibur Rahman was eliminated along with his whole family. Sheikh Hasina was lucky. She was in England, so she missed the assassin's bullet. Otherwise, she would have been killed on that day itself. And after a long time, came back and through a democratic process, took over the leadership and ruled for almost all 15 years and well also, in the sense, economically, this country has done quite well. But the other point was about the elections. How fair were they? It's a disputable point. And this is what happens when your elections are not fair. Elections are, in a way, one type of a safety valve for people to express themselves. When that is sealed, the reactions can come in different ways. And we have seen one such thing is this. But there is a lot more than what meets the eye. There is a strong Jamaat element in this. There is a strong ISI element in this, and a strong China element or CIA element is a question mark. Any one of them had played an important role, because if it was China playing, CIA wouldn't have played. If CIA was playing, China wouldn't have played. But definitely one of them is involved in this toppling Hasina's government to create a regime which is advantageous to them. There's no doubt about that. Second thing is, there's a strong Islamic fundamentalism which is taking shape all across South Asia. I mean, all across the world, and South Asia in particular. And this extreme fundamental Islamic process is already happening in Pakistan, parts of India, and Bangladesh to a large extent. So this Jamaat-e-Islami and those fundamental organizations played an important role in disposing of, because she is seen as a secular leader. So that's another major thing which have played a important role. All this put together, they created this unrest, which subsequently led to this. Of course, how she should have handled this, that's a question mark, and how other countries also should handle this, it's a major issue to be strategically, operationally discussed and decided, because it's not going to end here. Because countries like America, the West, and also China have now found this as a good avenue, medium of regime change. Even in case there is a duly democratically elected government, they are finding a way to topple it. Create a mob anarchy, mob violence, which can lead to a lot of state reaction. The state reaction can lead to a lot of deaths. Then make it a big issue, internationalize it, put pressure, and then look for a regime change. They tried it in India as well. I mean, the farmers' agitation, the Shahanbag agitations, they did not happen just like that. They had a purpose, the purpose of toppling a duly elected government in India. But the way the government of India handled it is excellent. I mean, they just allowed them to wear themselves out instead of using force and trying to disperse them. If you use force and try to disperse them, the original cause will go. The state oppression becomes the most important issue, and that can get a number of chain reactions leading to demands for a change in the regime. But here she handled it with all state force. But even then she would have survived, but for the fact that army was not with her. That's why in these countries, armies play a very, very important role. And since army was not with her, she had no option but to leave. So this broadly was what happened in Bangladesh. Now coming to what are going to be its repercussions on India, I could view it 2-3 ways. First, yes, you may not get an equally friendly regime in Bangladesh. But then, why do you need a totally friendly regime? Be business-like. I mean, they need us as much as we need them. First point is that. So, on each issue, on merits, you take a call and ask them either you take it or leave it. So that's one way of approaching. But more importantly, that can become a launching pad for a lot of these northeastern extremist terrorist groups. How do you handle that? Of course, they are equally vulnerable. Part of that cookie land and others are also part of Bangladesh. So if they try it this way, you can also try it that way. So that problem, that leverage also India still has. But then there also it should be dealing with that government on a no nonsensical basis. If you do something here, we are going to hit you back. So that's another way of looking at it. But where you can really get into a problem is if they start giving military base or ports and others, countries like China or America. How do you handle that? That's a point where government of India will have to very carefully deal with the situation, because they can harbor an enemy right in your backyard. Of course, it's already happening in Pakistan. Pakistan has already harbored China. Gadwar port and other places, they have already harbored. Same thing can happen here also. Malay is doing it. So you are getting encircled. This is something on which government of India will have to think and have a proper approach to handle this. And then of course the immigration. I think we will have to say no nonsense and then be prepared for implementation of, once the CAA is implemented, all the illegal immigrants from Bangladesh should be identified and should be sent back to that country. And it becomes easier when you don't have a friendly government there. When you have a friendly government, that becomes a problem. So this is the right time for government of India to take a strong action on sending back the illegal immigrants both from Bengal as well as from Assam. If you can really achieve that, in a way, not having a friendly regime in Bangladesh may work out to our advantage. So I think this needs a strategic thinking and a strategic approach, but we definitely have lost a very, very friendly, secular, more importantly, secular leader who was running Bangladesh without much of a problem for almost all 1.5 decades or so. The problem is, even within India, you have forces who are working against the interests of the government. For example, the statement of West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. Even when some problems were arising there, the immigrants are most welcome, and we will shelter them. I mean, already you have sheltered more than what is required, right from the communist regime. They have become the vote banks, and illegal immigration has been encouraged left, right and center, totally changing the demographic pattern of West Bengal. And now she wants more people to come in. I think that this is where I will have to take a call and say enough is enough. But more importantly, we will have to, I mean, if not today, tomorrow, it's inevitable. The Hindu minority, there's no way they can live there, because it's so extremely religious oriented communities, both in Pakistan as well as Bangladesh. There's no place for minorities there. One day or the other, all those Hindus will have to come back to India. The earlier the better. Thank you.